Hello, Daisy Cakes. This is Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me where I get into drag to film videos later today. And we have Lynette, yay, and John Crow. All right, thank you guys for showing up. And as usual, how is your reading going this week? I finished the Elsewhere Express by Yambao. What's her first name? I should really be prepared when I talk about books I've read. I think it's Yambao, something Yambao. And I really like the novel. I know it's probably not for everyone. Samantha Sato Yambao is the name of the author, and it's very much a Alice in Wonderland type book for adults. And there is kind of a romance. Well, there is sort of this relationship main storyline running through it, but it's not like a heavy romance, I would say. And I also read Agnes Obert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. And I love that book too. It's a historical, I guess, 1920s Canada story about a woman who is running a cat shelter. The cat shelter felt a little bit anachronistic because she was like having the cats fixed and talking about uh, um, shots and going to capture and neuter like feral cats and re-releasing them. That felt a little bit anachronistic because I don't know if that was happening in the 1920s. But anyway, it's a uh, fantasy about historical fantasy about the landlord that she finds herself under is a magician. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the book. I can't help it. I think this year so far in Shelve It or Shove It, I've really had some bangers. I started with the what was the first book called? The the about the old hunters of the elder god, Slayers of Old by Jim C. Hines. Slayers of Old. And then I followed that with The Elsewhere Express by Samantha Yambao, followed by Agnes Obert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. All of them were really good. So last year I didn't that great of experience with the Shoulder Shove It. So hey, Maxwell Reeds is here. Hey, Max. Oh, okay. The Impossible Creatures, the sequel. I haven't gotten that yet. I'm kind of keeping an eye out to see if when it be releases in paperback here in the States. Um, 'Cause maybe I'll get it as a physical copy. Young Crow still on Chessman of Mars. Um, that's like a short book, I thought. But take your time. Like I said, all the Edgar Rice Burroughs, John Carter, well, probably all his books are in the public domain if you ever want to read the Project Gutenberg versions. And they're probably also on LibriVox. And LibriVox is sort of the public domain free audios. And I'm kind of off and on with that because, first of all, they're not all professional voiceover actors. And so some are better than others. But also, which I find disconcerting, is sometimes they have like a different person per chapter, which is kind of weird, especially if you like get used to one person, then they switch it. We'll have to add Cat Shelter book to my wish list, but I can't read it until I finish 30 books of my TBR. Hey, not bad. You're at 22 now. Yeah. And I've been wanting to read that Heather Fawcett because her Emily Wilde series has been getting a lot of uh, good press. Okay, so anyway, oh, by the way, for the title of this, I had new wig question mark. That's because I got confident styling and teasing with Dennis's help, my husband's help, last week with that black wig. And so I took that long curly wig I had that wasn't styled and I teased it and styled it for today. So it's like a new wig, kind of. It's Small Gods by Pratchett. Oh, I love that one. That's a good one. That's a good Pratchett book. They're sort of like household gods type thing. A short story by Janny Wirtz. I love Janny Wirtz too. Alternating between Agatha Christie and Mary Queen of Scots biography. Interesting. Hmm. All I know about Agatha Christie is she had that period of time where she disappeared, and there's everyone's like speculates what she did. Janny Wirtz is my favorite Midkemia book, which was the is that the one with Feist, the Daughter of Empire? But I also read her other what was it called? I want to say Child of Light, Child of Dark, but that's not the name of it. Anyway, um, also finished Downward to Earth by Robert Silverberg. Really interesting aliens. Ooh, I love interesting aliens. Interesting read. Okay, guys. So my idea was just to do something with blue because I like the blue lipstick I have, and maybe I'll do like a blue and silver is what I'm thinking. So let's start with blue. So today, what I'm thinking of filming is a Doctor Who, the Fourth Doctor. I don't really have any book things to talk about today because I don't didn't finish the Hugo I'm reading, and I didn't prepare anything else. But I found a Doctor Who Fourth Doctor tier ranking, and I've seen the Fourth Doctor. He's my favorite Doctor, and I've seen his episodes like multiple times. The Key to Time series or season. I had that on VHS in the 90s. I rewatched that quite a few times. And I'll probably release that maybe next month or something. I'm actually really caught up on my, or way ahead on my videos, but they're all about the Hugos, so I want to mix it up a little bit. Worth the Light and Shadow. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. I've read the first one and really enjoyed it. Janny Wirtz is a good author, good fantasy author. I've started The Inverted World by Christopher Priest. Don't know that. I've been watching Planet of Spider. It's the last Perch read. Was that the last one? I vaguely remember it. And I remember is that the one where the queen has like a really high pitched, weird voice? I'm like remembering it now that I'm thinking about it. I bought the first Sector General book by James White. I read a couple of them decades ago. They can be read out of order, I think. Yeah, you and someone else was like recommending it. Talking about Pertwee, he's like of the classic doctors, he may be my second favorite. Tom Baker's obviously my first favorite. Um, but I also really enjoy Pertwee because he's the only doctor that that was physical. That was like I call him like the swashbuckling doctor because he wasn't afraid to what am I doing? He wasn't afraid to sword fight or fight. Okay. The Thane Churchman, who is also the voice of Alpha Centauri. My favorite John Pertwee book was, I forget the title of it, but it was, if you don't know, the Third Doctor was stuck on Earth for a long period of time and are grounded by the Time Lords. And there's this one episode, and this is when the Master was introduced. So it's one of the episodes with the Master, and they did sort of this spin on the occult, where the Master was sort of like a Aleister Crowley type, but then they had this White Witch, um, who was fantastic. She was so much fun. And she was the only human that I've ever seen that was able to resist the Master's like hypnotism. And she would always get in an argument with the Doctor of it's magic. No, it's science. Oh, thank you. The Damons, that's it. Well, it's all the old Who I've seen was Baker, so he's my favorite. He's also the longest running Doctor, so the most episodes ever was Tom Baker. I've liked all the Doctors to varying degrees. Hasn't been one I hated. Yeah, hate's a pretty strong word. I don't know if I'd say hate. Although the Sixth Doctor came close. I've seen every single episode of Doctor Who except for the Feast of St. Stephen, which was a Christmas episode that was only ever broadcasted once in the UK. Yeah, that's the other thing. There's so many episodes that have been lost. I have the hiccups. And for the, if you don't know, following Doctor Who was Peter Davidson, who when he first came out, I really didn't like him because I thought he was too young and too good looking. I kind of like more of a quirky or conventionally good looking, I should say. I like sort of a more quirky doctor, and I wasn't fond of young doctors. And following him was Colin Baker, and I don't think it's the actor's fault, but the writing, they decided to do this storyline where the doctor went crazy for, I guess, all his regenerations or something. And they just did him dirty. And it was and I don't think the writing for the Peter Davidson's episodes was that great either. So I think the fifth and sixth Doctor really suffered because the writing just didn't prove to be as good as it usually was, at least for the Tom Baker era. Oh, also, they decided to get rid of the police box version of the TARDIS, and his chameleon circuit started working. I thought that was a bad mistake. But then they went to, oh, and the other thing about the Peter Davidson was like, I love the uh, Tom Baker in previous versions where the story arcs were like 4 to 6 episodes, half-hour episodes. And then they started doing like single standalone episodes, which didn't work, I thought. Um, Especially when they're just like 30-minute episodes. I liked having each story arc being like a movie, 90 minutes or 2 hours of storyline. I missed most of Peter Davidson Doctors. He didn't miss much, in my opinion. Although I like the companions. He came straight from All Creatures Great and Small, so he didn't really gel. Yeah. Same with Capaldi. The writing sucked. Agree. And I was so excited when Capaldi came because, I was like, oh, finally, we're going back to a mature doctor. Because Matt Smith, I was like, oh, he's pretty young too. Although I warmed up to him. But yeah, Capaldi, the writing wasn't up to snuff, in my opinion. Most of the lost episodes of Doctor Who were only aired once in the UK, but at least 3 times in Australia. Yeah, it's so sad they were lost. I have fond memories of many of the lost episodes. Yeah. Let's see a colorized version of the Aztecs. I don't know that one. Okay, so I got blue. Now we go to a really light blue. But anyway, Sylvester McCoy, the seventh Doctor, um, I think is really underappreciated because I think the writing really did improve from the fifth and sixth Doctors, especially when they He got the companion of Ace. She's really fantastic. Okay. Ah, the best Hartnell stories. McCoy was hit or miss. See, I liked him once I liked the writing, and once he got to Ace, I didn't like the companion Mel very much. But yeah, I get messed up with some of the Hartnell Troughton episodes. I remember the storylines better than which Doctor it was. Yeah, I honestly have not seen much of one and two. Usually, the ones I've seen are from like specials on PBS. Sometimes they would like have, usually during their pledge drives, like unusual episodes of Doctor Who. But I've only seen a couple of them. I don't have strong opinions on Doctors one and two. And like you said, so many of their episodes have been lost and only exist in the memories of people like Lynette. I hated the special weapons Dalek. You know, I'm not sure what special weapons Dalek is, but I'm not like a huge Dalek fan. You know, I know they're like the iconic enemy of Doctor Who, but sometimes their voices grate on me. I do like the ones with Davros to give sort of a break from exterminate. And I guess I like the Tom Baker ones because he goes back to Skaros to try to stop the Daleks from being created. I appreciate the episodes about St. Bartholomew Massacre more after reading John Plady books about Catherine D'Amici. Oh, interesting. Cornell shows were live, so you saw the fluffs. I could say very early who got me interested in history. Oh, there we go. Two. I didn't realize the first Doctor Who was live. That's kind of wild. I remember watching Dark Shadows when it came out. It's like a soap gothic horror soap opera, and I don't know whether they were live or just didn't bother to refilm like mess ups that they did. You know, they would famously have things where they would catch like the microphone in the shot, or the uh, vampire like walking through the graveyard, bumping into a bush and the bush falling over, and you could see it with a prop. Okay, so cut the crease. Sick to death the Daleks of Cybermen, yeah. They've just been done so much, especially if you've watched as many Doctor Who's as some of us have. Give up on Whittaker. Hmm. Whittaker herself was fine, but her companions were boring. I didn't like the writing. That was my big problem with Whittaker. And I thought I could like see her acting a little bit, rather than someone like Tom Baker sort of inhabited the role. But I didn't see all the Whittaker episodes, so I'm sure she got better as it went along. It's just stories were dire, waste of talent. Two or three stories I really liked, such as The Fugitive of Judoon. Yeah, maybe one day I'll give her more of a chance. And I've seen all the Shooty Gatwa episodes, and they were okay, I guess. I didn't like a sexualized doctor too much. I mean, it wasn't that bad. And I didn't see my big problem with Doctor Who, the current Doctor Who's, is that the Time Wars, where they took out all the Time Lords, and they every season they seem to like want to outdo the previous season, and they've just expanded the Doctor's role so much that he's almost like a god now. And I like it when there's like he has more equal contemporaries type things. And they've just like, in my opinion, just have taken it too far to the point where he has to actually literally fight gods to find like a worthy opponent. I said I was going to do blue and silver. I think I'm just going to do blue and white. Just keep it white like this. There's a term in gaming, as a game producer for a while, called power creep, um, where each iteration or each version of your game, you try to keep making it better and better to give players more and more special abilities and powers to really keep them engaged. And I think that's what happened with Doctor Who. There was sort of this power creep that I don't know how they can undo. Because isn't he now like supposed to be uh, go be beyond the Time Lords, like some special child from before the universe was created? I mean, it's gotten out of control. His lore. But of course, it won't stop me from watching the I'm excited about Billy Piper being the next Doctor. The Time Hotel is just stupid. I didn't really see them as gods, just as very advanced beings. See, if they would hit that more, if they would hit it more like the Toymaker and the Sutak and all that are not gods, but just sort of advanced beings, I would like that a lot more. But it feels as though they're just, pushing the fantasy version, sort of like Q. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I gave up watching Doctor Who during Capaldi's era because of the writing and haven't watched any since, except the episodes where Tennant came back, which were just okay in my opinion. Sonic, blah, blah, blah. Sonic Screwdriver became a utility belt. Not much it couldn't do. Yeah. Agree, DK. Okay, I forgot to do the eyeliner, but oh well. Anyway, as this conversation got started, I'm going to film the tier ranking the Doctor, the fourth Doctor, the Tom Baker Doctor stories. Okay. My friend who I was so worried about finally got into a care home, which takes a lot of pressure off me. I'm so glad to hear that. Many of the modern stories ignore the past ones for continuity. She is younger than me. I hope I never need to go into one. Yeah. It's timey-wimey nonsense. Yeah. Okay. I should have done the eyeliner before I cut the crease, but oh well. What I did really like on the Shirigatwa stories was when they brought the Ronnie back, who came with Sylvester McCoy. Bring back the Time Lords. I definitely did not see that coming. Okay. Blink was a great. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember Blink. That was a good one. 60-year-old show is going to be consistent. Yeah, isn't that amazing? It's been on for 60 years. Blink with one of my favorites. They made the Centaurans a joke. Well, the Centaurans have been around forever. And I think it's because, I mean, if you look at some of the early episodes, the they did not have a budget. Um, but every once in a while, they could make a cheap costume that looked great. And I think the Centaurans was one of them. Because they really haven't changed that much in the last 50 years or however long the Centaurans have been around. Because somehow they made a costume that looked really good. So they kept using them. I liked him more than the Daleks or the Daleks. Um, just as a storyline, being this martial race of aliens. I guess maybe because they reminded me of Klingons. Waited 50 years to see the toy maker again. Yay. And you know I love Jinx Monsoon. Anyone talks low budget shows and old Doctor Who is the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah. Blake Seven also low budget show. Yep. What's Jinx Monsoon's character? They played like the child of the toy maker, right? The toy maker was Neil Patrick Harris. But shows like Doctor Who and Blake Seven prove that as long as the writing is good, you don't need a big budget. And the acting is good too, of course. And Sapphire and Steel, talk about low budget. Try to think of American shows that were really low budget. The only one I can think of is Quark, which was a sci-fi comedy show. Oh, it's low budget. I hope the remake gets off the ground. We're talking about Blake 7 because I've heard that too about redoing or rebooting Blake 7. Sorry, Sticky Key. I wonder what the Blake 7 remake will be like. I did love Babylon 5, but haven't seen any of it since the original airing. Are we talking about Babylon 5? I have now left 45 books in little free libraries, only 105 to go. Wow. I've only picked up 3 books from them and I've only bought 3 physical books this year. Bought ebooks and audiobooks, probably far too many. Yeah, since I've been doing the Hugo things, like I got the Way Station by Clifford D. Simic. Because some of these older science fiction books are cheaper than ebooks, which is crazy to me. But I need to be careful because I got excited and started buying the ebook, I mean the physical books, and I don't want to get into a position where I just have too many books, physical books that I don't know what to do with. Okay. Yep. They're talking about Blake 7, but made me think of Babylon 5. I love Babylon 5. I don't think you need to remake Babylon 5. They was so good the first time around. I had over 500 books. Wow. I love Way Station. Yay. Oh, my Venus plus X book. Okay. I have about 900 physical books, but want to get down to 250, 100 fiction, 150 nonfiction. Ordered The Shrinking Ma by Richard Matheson because my copy has disappeared. I haven't heard of that. Oh, Man, Not Ma. I don't think I've read that one either. I mean, the Shrinking Man movies. Oh, did you ever see the Shrinking Woman with Lily Tomlin? That's really a good one, I thought. It'd just be because I love Lily Tomlin. Oh yes, it's in the movie. I read the book before I saw the movie. The movie was good. Yeah, I never read. I didn't even know about the book actually. Um, okay, the eyes are almost done. Let me do the little bit of white. Love him running from the cat and fighting the spider, armed with a sewing needle. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's an old movie. There's a new Shrinking Woman movie. I just saw the clips on YouTube about, I think, Elizabeth Banks being shrunk down by her husband. Okay. And I do have a little bit of blue sparkle. So we're going to do lips, and I think we're about done. Okay. The Incredible Shrinking Man, that was like the 50s, right? Because they also had some like the Teenage Giants, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman type movies. The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, where the storyline was this woman was made into a giant by some alien or something, but then she found out her husband was having an affair, and so she attacked him. Okay. First nonfiction book I put on my keep list was The Origin of the Species. The second was The Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan. Oops, I've not read those. I'm not big on nonfiction. I know it's bad. Getting rid of nonfiction is going to be harder than fiction. Some 50s movies were so bad they were good. Yeah. Yeah. Some of those movies you kind of almost have to see with other people to really appreciate the campiness of them. Okay. Maybe it just was because of my era, but I know there's a lot of 80s movies that probably are objectively bad, but that I just loved. But a lot of it was watching it with like college roommates back in the VHS days. Quarterbass in the Pit. It had an alternate name as well. Yeah, I saw the alternate name. It's like 7 million years to something or other. with the serial in the movie, Quartermass in the Pit. Now, the Quartermass movie, oh, here you had it. 5 billion years to Earth. Okay, that's it. That movie freaked me out because I saw it when I was pretty young, like 10 years old or 9 years old, somewhere around there. And it didn't have, that's another one. It didn't have like great special effects, but oh my gosh, seeing those like grasshoppers or locusts, that really freaked me out. Waiting for this lip to dry. To put on the topper, this will transform this lip. Mooney, yay! Thank you for joining us. Did I miss you when you first came in? Glad you made it. I hope things are going okay with you because I know you're in Israel. So, okay, we're going to transform these lips. Yeah, I can't imagine being in that area of the world right now. Another sci-fi movie I liked was The Quiet Earth, much better than the book. Yeah, I think I watched that because of you, Lynette. Good Moon. Okay. I am going to put on the lashes and we're about done. I've only seen the one free episode of Starfleet Academy, but I've kind of been hearing good things about it. So maybe I should get Paramount Plus to see it. Oops, I'm making a mess. I'm reading the comments and I see John Crow saying last night's episode was finally good. I don't have Paramount Plus, says Lynette. Oh, thank you, John. Love the eyes. Yeah, I'm tired of being disappointed with the new Star Trek iterations. In the free episode, I saw the first episode of the Starfleet Academy. My comment was I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. Who knows? There's only so many time in the day to watch for TV and stuff. Okay, so this is the final look. I got these big these big beads in a variety of colors. When it does not want to see something here, let me just don't want to see something on Amazon Prime, but I'm not going to give up my boycott of them. I did want to see something on Amazon. Yeah. The Kutzman verse is so wrong. I think it was the new Sherlock movie. Also, Hamnet is only Prime. Oh, if you're talking about young Sherlock, I know you don't like Prime, but I did see the first couple episodes of Young Sherlock, and I did like it. What I wasn't expecting, maybe because I just haven't heard anything about it or read anything about it, was that Young Sherlock, the series, is has he has a companion, and no, it's not Watson. So I guess they're keeping the timeline correct that Watson, shows up later in his life. But Sherlock does sort of need someone to sort of balance him or sort of bounce things off him. And so they made his best friend appear, and his best friend is John Moriarty. And I kind of love that. I kind of love they're giving Sherlock Holmes that type of backstory with Moriarty. Okay, so this is the wig that I didn't like out of the bag, and I styled it myself. So kind of proud of how it turned out. Uh, the the back is kind of a mess, but you only ever see me from the front, so somehow I've forgotten how to put on wigs. There we go. As you can see, I teased it up and tried to style it. Zoom out. And I do have like a couple of other wigs that I don't wear anymore because they've kind of lost their mojo, but I might be confident enough to try to wash them and restyle them. We shall see. No picture. Oh yeah, it's because I wore it with a hat. Let me see. I can find it on Instagram. So what am I sharing? Oh, there it is. There, that's the old wig. And you could go back and see my, I guess, live stream of it. But it felt like really flat on top. Anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, guys. Like I said, I'm going to be filming a Doctor Who video later today or today, and it'll probably be out sometime next month. And it'll be about the fourth Doctor, my favorite Doctor, the Doctor I grew up with. And yeah, that's it. And this week I'll be releasing the Hugo on some. Actually, it's not this book. Anyway, I'll be releasing a book on Simek. Sorry if I've been a little bit out of it today. Thank you again for joining me. I should be back next week. And as usual, may all the books you read be